how me I would look when I'm married.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Women Everywhere. Your story matters at Intellectual Radio. This is Gigi Carrera, your host. I'm the executive director of Carrera Company USA and the designer for Gigi Brands, which is the official designer of the Love Affair 2016 runway show on February 13th at the Drake Hotel. Thank you so much for tuning in and happy holidays, everyone. There's so much things we're going to talk about today. Today I have a special guest. He is the co-founder of ISO Networks LLC. He's a business intelligence integration expert, and we're going to talk a lot about technology and internet and holiday scams that you have to avoid during the holidays, of course, when you're shopping online and stuff like that. We'll also talk about some of the trends, technology trends in 2015, 2016 that affects users and businesses. And we'll talk about women and career in technology. And before we start, though, I want to say thank you to LH Couture for the Christmas gala. I was there, one of the fashion designers. I'm so thrilled. Thank you so much for the opportunity and for the models that wore in the outfits by Gigi Clothing. This is one of the outfits that I've created yesterday and was shown on the runway. So I'm so glad that it was very successful. It was really thrilling to be there. Also, for the sponsors of the Love Affair fashion show, thank you to CDC Networking, DQ Production, Fibre by Ray, The Cat's Meow, ISO Networks LLC, Just Me Magazine, Papa Turds, and Miss Cookies and Cakes. And we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're bringing in Mr. Justin Carrera with ISO Networks LLC to talk about technology. We'll be right back at Women Everywhere, Your Story Matters at Intellectual Radio. Welcome back to Women Everywhere, Your Story Matters at Intellectual Radio. If you're just tuning in, again, thank you so much for being here. And my guest this afternoon is Justin Carrera. He's the co-founder of ISO Networks LLC, and he's a business intelligence integration expert. So welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Gigi. I'm excited to be here and talk about women in technology.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself. How did you get started in technology and your credentials?
Well, I have a bachelor's degree from DeVry University. I also have certifications in Microsoft and Cisco, also security certificates with Bitdefender and WatchGuard. WatchGuard is a router which we use with some of our clients. And I watched the movie Hackers, and and I got hooked. And hackers is a term commonly used and sometimes misused. Hackers is a term for the good guys. Mm-hmm. The bad guys are actually called crackers. So
is that how you guys started though? Like, so you watched the movie Hackers, and when was this? This is like in high school or elementary? How?
Right. Well, it was probably a rerun or so. I didn't watch it live.
Is that the one with Angelina Jolie?
No.
No, who is it would be? I know I've seen something similar to that, and that's one of the reasons that I'm also in technology. But the funny part is, I know you've been in business for more than you've been in the same industry for more than 14 years, and you've worked with a lot of different corporate companies in the past. And so we're gonna talk about a little bit about the trends in, because it's New Year, and of course everybody wants to talk about the trends and what happened in 2015 and 2016. So some of the things that you want to talk about it.
Yes. Well, I'd also like to mention that I got into computer science because I grew up with a severe stuttering problem, and I felt like that was a way to not talk to people, just to sit in front of a computer. But I've learned that I have to interact with people to get the business requirements and get the job done right. At least through also help desk when you're dealing with help desk problems, not just infrastructure or any kind of project problems or working through an entire system. You can't get away from dealing with and interacting with people, where I also joined Toastmasters to improve my communication. I'd also like to shout out to a Gift of Hope, share the gift of life and become a tissue and organ donor.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So Gift of Hope is actually a company that you work with. They are a tissue and organ donation company in the state of Illinois. So I'm one of the donor. Are you a donor? Are you a donor? So if you guys are interested in learning about that, their website is giftofhope.org, right? And you're a computer. What do you exactly do? You're a software developer for the company.
Correct.
Fantastic. And so let's dive into my first question, which was the trends in technology in 2015 and 2016 that affects users and businesses, and maybe the good ones and the bad ones.
Okay. So there's some good and bad, of course. So bad is eyes on the phone. Now, people cannot multitask. Only computers can multitask. So when you're doing a task, be eyes on what you need. Usually people are eyes on the phone when they're driving or talking to other people. So try to, if you're doing things on the computer, just to do it on a computer and get away from people. If you're with people, be with people and explore that. Second one is encyclopedia. Encyclopedia, maybe no one has heard of it now. It's been replaced by Google, by searching on the internet, and unfortunately there's less credibility and less a validation of what information is out there. The third one is there's 10% problem with people of the users of applications and operating systems, but majority the responsibility I feel should be on the operating system to harden it more and secure it more. The applications that people use should just automatically come secure, but unfortunately there's malicious applications and operating systems out there that are spying and doing malicious things to people, which the people shouldn't have to be worried about that. The best things about information nowadays is that it's available. It is available more often. Example one is with Google Maps. Google Maps, you can not only see the directions of where to go with where you're driving, but also tells you how much time it takes, tell you what's the traffic like. So it helps you make better decisions. So where there's unbiased information with the information that's presented to you, that's the best. Mm-hmm. And so that goes along with the second, a good point about information nowadays is big data. Big data, for people that don't know, it's not only getting the information, but getting information from multiple sources where you could correlate it and you could include
analytics, demographics with that data, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. And there's multiple examples with that, with the census, with the forecast who goes to the mall shopping with the weather. So with big data, to make it useful, it correlates multiple data sets to improve the reliability and the correlation of the information. The third point is information nowadays decreases the wait time. So for things nowadays, instead of mail, waiting for the post office, and also the information has increased the post office efficiency also. So overall, there's a decrease in wait time, so you can enjoy your life better. So
Yeah, improve life, right? The amazing thing about what you mentioned as far as the top three things that are worse in technology and the top three things that are best in technology, not only that it's actually in 2015 and 2016, but in the past years, maybe about 5 or 3 years ago, this technology has been out there. It's just that it hasn't been rampant. It's not used as extensively as it is now, and it's not as easy to access. Like, for example, when you mentioned about the technology as far as your face being on the phone all the time, this has just been recent for the past 3 years, because back then the cell phones, a lot of the users are not using a fast internet and the cell phones, right? But also the fact that the technology has created something where there's so many social media, different type of social media now. Like you got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got Twitter, and it's like I posted this a while ago that some people have more accounts, social media accounts, than real friends, because you've got that. So that's really kind of a disadvantage, having that technology, now with so many different social media coming out, and people are just not, paying attention to people that they're actually talking. So, and for, it's the big data is really, really important now with businesses and all that. And I'm sure if businesses that are not currently using right now to not only in marketing but also in doing the process as far as their business, and it's gonna continue to grow, I'm sure, in 2016. And well, we're gonna take a short break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the holiday scams online, what they are, and how to avoid them. We'll be right back here at Women Everywhere, your story matters at Intellectual Radio. Welcome back to Women Everywhere, your story matters at Intellectual Radio. I'm still here with Justin. He's the co-founder of ISO Networks LLC. And before we continue, I want to say thank you to Michael Hopkins of Salon Heaven and Spa for my beautiful hair, for coloring and styling it, and congratulations to Mickey McGee for our photo shoot yesterday that went very well for the Lazy Cloud Body Works LLC. They're a Thai massage company in Chicago. Those pictures are going to be coming out for advertising. So we're so thrilled about that. I posted his website on our page. Make sure to take a look at their services. And also, Carrera Company USA is going to be volunteering for December 25th, which is of course, Christmas. We are going to be bringing some dinner for our friends at the homeless shelter at Hinsdale. So the chapel, 620 North Oak Street in Hinsdale, Illinois, will be serving for maybe about 25 to 35 people there. Thank you to all the volunteers that signed up for it. So we'll be bringing food, drinks, dinner for them, of course, and some gifts to our people there. And you'll be one of the people that will coming over.
And Nate too.
Nate, yeah, Nate Carrera, shout out to him. Thank you. So for all of you that are volunteering, just a quick announcement to everyone. Make sure that you don't take photos of the people that were volunteering. Be kind, respectful, and have a positive attitude when you're volunteering. And before you do volunteer, make sure to go to the page pad, because Carrera Company is partnering with the page pad to do this volunteer work around Chicago, around Illinois. So go to the dupagepad.com and look for sign up for volunteer and include Carrera Company group on that if you're interested. You can always text me at 630-542-3006. And if you do have any questions when it comes to technology, Justin and I will be ready to answer your questions. If you have, you can text it out to 630-542-3006. And holiday is always one of the shopping during holiday always spikes up, and now a lot of people don't want to shop. Not everybody, including myself, don't like to go to the mall anymore. So a lot of us shops online, and I think that's the best way to do as far as your time. Unless you really want to go to the mall and see the people that are shopping there. But what we're going to talk about today is some of the holiday scams that people encounter, especially online, and what can you do to avoid them. So let me ask you, what are some of the holiday scams that you've noticed, especially because you work with the security team and even in your business? I mean, like, users should not be shopping while at work, right? That's probably so important, especially if you work for a big business, even in business. I mean, it's just a waste of time. You're going through your shopping list and figuring out what you need to buy. So first of all, don't shop when you're at your office. Go home, do that on your phone, so what are some of the trends that happen, or like the scams that happen online that you've noticed?
So a general term for this is called phishing. It's not take your pole out and find some fish to eat. It's phishing is when with emails, could be with websites. There are attacks that are malicious that disguise themselves as something different. So ways to identify phishing attacks is if its email sounds urgent or the request sounds urgent, then verify that and call the phone number of the person that's requesting it. Make sure that the person is
legitimate.
Right. Mm-hmm. And also, if there's a link in the email or link on the website, if you hover over the link, then on the bottom of your toolbar, it shows the actual direction that when you click on it, it will go to. That's one way to verify that the link is a real link. The second way, you could just actually type in what the link says, so you know that you're going to the right place, because there's these sites that they want you to think you're going to one place, but they take you to imposter site. Some sites also mask their site to look like they're the real site, and then they miss a few words. So they might be missing a I and then they have an L. So then it will be disguised as looking like the real site. So some ways to identify the website, you could also go to whois.net. Whois.net, you could look up the domain registrar to see who the domain is owned from.
And if it's coming from China, I guess, or some place that you don't recognize, like let's just say FedEx.com. If it says FedEx with double X.com, you're gonna wonder if whether or not that's the real deal, or anything like let's say ISO Networks LLC, and we have an S at the end, and it says ISO Network instead of S with S on it. That means that's not the right business that you're trying to go to, right? So
Right.
that's one type of phishing. What are other type of possible phishing?
So some other types is with banks. So banks well basically don't open an email from your bank. Banks don't want to communicate with you through email for the most part. If it's to do something with your account, you want to type in your bank address. It's too risky to click on a link that looks like it's from your bank. Also, if someone's requesting money from you, that's a red flag. Basically, the acronym to remember is RAD. R is for read, A is for assess, D is for decide. So you want to read the content that's sent to you. You want to assess it, and then you want to decide. You don't want to just click on everything that's available there.
And so that's a good way to remember. And I've noticed a lot of that, especially during the holidays when you're purchasing some. Let's just say like those shipping notification. That's one thing. So some of the type of phishing attacks that you will also find during the holiday seasons are shipping notifications. So you will see a shipping notification that says UPS, but when you actually click on that email address, it comes from a completely different email address, and then it has an attachment in it. And most of the time, the attachment would be carrying a virus or some kind of anti-spyware.
Yeah,
So,
and if you would like more examples, you could email us, and the FBI actually has a lot of examples of phishing attacks.
oh, and also those from IRS too, right? Like holiday seasons, right before you file your taxes in April, you get notification that you need to pay this from the IRS, and I get that a lot. I mean, especially if you own a small business owner that takes care of your taxes, they can figure it out from going to Manta or something like that you're a small business, and if you file your taxes, you get those notification, and you got to figure it out if that's it's a phishing attack. So some of the ones are charity phishing scams. You know, they have those charity and they're really really good. I don't know why they waste their time trying to figure out how to scam people when they could just probably use their time trying to figure out how to make money. Right?
I definitely recommend go to the state's attorney website, and they have recommended charities. Look up their recommendations for they have a whole list of checkpoints to look for, questions to ask for charity. So go to the state's attorney's website and look up their recommended charities and the questions to ask all charities before you send any money.
Yes, and you can also check to make sure that that domain is actually registered to that particular charity. The next thing is holiday e-cards. So I really don't like getting holiday cards actually. But do you actually? So people that gets a lot of holiday e-cards from your friends, I think that's the way to go now, instead of actually printing a regular card, and just you're saving trees, you're saving stamps cost. But if you make sure that before you click on the holiday card to see what it looks like and whose picture is in it, make sure that it's a legitimate card from a friend that or something like that, right?
Right, and there's an option with most emails to block attachments and block pictures and media before you download them. You could include that option in the email, and then when you decide that this is a accepted message, then you could download those attachments and download those pictures before. Okay. So you lower the risk that you have.
Okay, and then fake invoice scams. Oh, there you go. So if you're ordering something online as well, after you order it, usually you get invoice from your online or the e-commerce site. Make sure that you verify before clicking on the link. New friend request scam. I don't think how does that work with Facebook? You can make sure that you know somebody. I add everyone, so go ahead, add me. But yeah, so make sure that the people that I guess your people you're adding are not scammers, or because some of them like go on Facebook just to check your birthdays and your locations and all that. Make sure that the people that you're actually adding, I guess, are people that you know. And another thing too on Facebook, I've noticed those they have these holiday questionnaires like
Hmm.
where you which street if you're a street came from this street, you're a mistletoe, or if you, something like that. Like
Right.
they're trying to get your information through the social site. Like if your birthday is April, your and at the beginning of your name is J, you are this kind. You're a red nose rundle, red nose, you know.
Right. Another example is if you've used PlayStation when you were a kid, then click like. That's people trying to identify you as which age group that you come from. So just beware of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and I notice a lot of my friends. So make sure I notice, and I know who those friends are. I'm not mentioning your name, but you're always the one that's answering the questions about certain things, about which street you grow up and how old you are, and they're trying to associate, and I think that's one of the biggest problem with big data too. I think they're collecting this data and analyzing you, and sometimes they use it to scam people or defraud you.
Right.
with
Oh,
that
I'd also like to mention that credit cards are actually your friends. Talk to your credit card company. Make sure that no malicious activity, no unsolicited activity is being done on your account. Talking to your credit card company is not a bad thing. Keeping a good credit score will help you in the long run too.
Good, good. That's not a financial expert. That's a information technology, advice. And when we come back, we're gonna take a short break. And when we come back, we're gonna talk about women career in technology and some more information about technology. We'll be right back here at Women Everywhere. Your story matters. That's Intellectual Radio.
Regina, Regina, Regina. Olá, olá.
Dare you?
Let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. Feel how the planets become one. It's like a drum to dance and rhythm. Hear the whistle, kick the ball. The entire world soars like an eagle, and we always play like we dance. Only today, there's no tomorrow. Leave all behind in this place. There's no space for fear or sorrow. Is it true that you want it? Then act like you mean it. With everyone watching, it's truth or dare. Can you feel it? Dare you? Let go. Let go. You have arrived, it's the place. No more doubts, the time is coming. You'll have the planets become one like a drum. Destiny's calling. German, Colombian, Spanish, and French. Off the bench, you gotta own it. Down here we play like we dance. It's Brazil, and now you know it.
Welcome back to Women Everywhere. Your story matters at Intellectual Radio. You do have a chance to ask questions to us by email at sales@ISO LLC, or you can send your question on our website, isonetworks.com. And you can also text them to me right now, 630-542-3006. And before we continue with our discussion about technology, of course, this our show is about women. Women everywhere, your story matters at intellectualradio.com. We're always live here every Sunday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at intellectualradio.com. Happy holidays to everyone. And before we continue with technology, tell us a little bit more about your holiday tradition. What have you guys, growing up, what was your tradition as far as Christmas or holidays?
Growing up, going to church.
Okay, so yeah, it's good to go to church. Yeah, and but so Justin Carrera is going to be with us at our holiday volunteer work for Carrera Company, which I mentioned earlier. I'm going to be posting it in our page, Women Everywhere. So make sure you guys join us on that one. We were thinking about changing, doing a different tradition from this year moving forward, and that is to, instead of giving a gift to ourselves, we are going to be giving a gift to other people that cannot afford or will not be able to have the things they want this year. So the first gift that we're going to give is to give them dinner. I'll be making the food. Good luck to them. But yes, I will be making dinner for our friends there at Hinsdale. And some of our friends will be bringing desserts and gift, and we'll be cooking, baking some cupcakes. So I'm so excited. For those of you that wants to join me to bake cupcakes also, that would be December 25 in the morning in my home in Carol Stream. So if you guys are interested in doing it, come text me right now. And so, changing tradition is sometimes it's good if it's for other people and sharing stuff to other people. So, women in technology. I know you've worked with several companies in the past, and I'm sure you have more experience working with men when it comes to technology than women, because there's not so many of them out there. I've met some women that are also in technology, and of course we work together, so that makes you have an experience working with women. So what are some of the traits that you think are very prominent in the women that you've worked with in technology, and what are these traits?
Well, women are communication is much more open. They have a different perspective, and women are really a joy to work with.
I can imagine, right?
Any faults that women have, men have also. So I don't hold anything against them. I try to treat them just like everybody else. I don't see why there are not more women in technology. It's been just kind of sad that actually overall, if that women are sort of treated less as men, and they don't get paid as much on the reports that they get paid 79 cents on the dollar for
every man for what they make, right?
Yeah.
And that's not just in technology, but that's also in different industry. And what are some of the advice can you give to women that are interested in pursuing in technology careers moving forward, like what they should do?
I believe that they should just focus on the results and focus on what they've achieved with technology, what they're interested in technology. That technology is based on what you can accomplish with it, and if the women can show, and women are usually much more better to present ideas. I see a lot more saleswomen than men out there. So they have that sales pitch background, I feel, and I think there's a lot more opportunity for them to sell themselves, because you're the only one that can sell yourself. There's only so many people that will talk good about you, but you are the one that can sell yourself on it.
So I guess there's a opportunity out there. It's focus on result, and you're talking about everything you do in technology is all about result. I think it doesn't. At the end of the day, it's really not about how you do it and how long you do it. I mean, the more experience you gain working in that particular industry that you use for that particular project, the lesser the time it would take you. But at the end of the day, when it comes to technology, it's about the result. When you're creating an application, what matters most is that what it's going to be once you're done with it. It doesn't matter the process, how you build it, as long as it's scalable, it's fast, it's different ideas. So what are some of, when it comes to software development, you've worked with some team in the past, and have you worked with women in a bigger scale, like let's say, in a bigger corporate company? Have you worked with women, and some of the things that you do that just drives you crazy? What were they?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, no. Okay. All right. He's not even saying anything. But anyways, for those of you again that have questions about ISO Networks LLC and the services that we do, isonetworks.com. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy holidays, everyone. And we'll see you next week at Women Everywhere. Your story matters at Intellectual Radio.
When I met you.
Bye.